last layout for the summer round of RTS Scrapbooking's 444 series. And Janet over at RTS Scrapbooking, she's been doing these series for the past year or so, I guess. She has several different ones. There's the original 444 series, there's a summer round, a baby round, fall round, I think. I'm not really sure all the different ones, but she's going to be doing a heritage round coming up soon. And I'm just trying to finish up this summer one. It's already November and it's getting cold outside, and I'm still working on summer. So this is my last one. Now I thought I would do just a quick layout share of my first 3 layouts. I have 4 videos up for this series. The first one was on picking the papers and building my kit, and then I have 3 videos on the first 3 layouts. And so this layout right here, this is the first one. This was my layout number 1, and it's called Here Comes Trouble. Now all of the pictures that I am using for these layouts came from a day when we were at my sister's house, and she has an above ground pool, and the pictures are of my nieces and nephews. And so this is my niece Elena. And so the first 2 layouts were using pictures of Elena trying to climb into the pool. And so that's layout number 1. And then the next layout is layout number 2. And this one's called Hello Sunshine. And also pictures of Elena trying to get into the pool. I just think those are the most adorable pictures. And these are older pictures because she's now in high school. I think she's a junior in high school. And I believe these pictures were taken when she was maybe 2.5, 3 years old. And then my third layout was this layout called Fun in the Pool. And this is a picture of my nephew, and he is now in high school. So I think Elena and Chris are both in the same grade at school, so they're about the same age. So those are my first 3 layouts. And I have my kit here, and I have my kit stored in a Iris 12x12 slim project case. This is the larger slim project case that actually can hold 12x12 papers, and I just have everything for my kit actually stored in this case. The only thing I don't have in my case was my washi tape, because it didn't quite fit, so I just have it in this little box. And I'm going to go ahead and just take this out, and I have my instructions in here somewhere. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out the paper that I'm going to be using. Now, one of the things I love about doing this 444 series is that you cut the paper down in the first step, and then for each layout, Janet has instructions for which pieces of paper that you would need to use to do each layout. And so these instructions came from the group, the Facebook group Love RTS, and I will put links to Janet's channel as well as the link to this Facebook group. And I was able to get the instructions for this 444 series, the summer round. And what you have here is it tells you how to cut your paper down, and also for each different layout. So this is going to be layout number 4, which paper I'm going to be using. So I need a 12x12 cardstock for my background, and then we will need 1 3x9 from pattern number 2. And I also wrote down on here which papers were which, because you kind of need to keep track of which paper is numbered. So my papers were, paper number 1 was an abstract geometric, paper number 2 is the green stripe, and paper number 3 was flowers, and paper number 4 was a blue tone-on tone. So we will need to get 1 3x9 of pattern number 2, which was the green stripe. And here's my paper here. And I don't see a green stripe. That's 3x9, unless it's this one. Oh yeah, that is. It's a 3x9. Okay. It looks small. 1 4x5 of pattern number 3, which was my floral. 3x5. This must be it here. And then 1 8x8, which was the blue. So these are the papers that I'm going to be working with for this layout. Now you do have the option of using an optional paper, and that was this really pretty orange color paper. It's like a stripe. And I may use some of these little cut aparts that I had cut apart. There is some extra paper here because part of the 4x4 series is you do 4 scrapbook layouts and also 4 cards. So the rest of this paper would be used for the cards. Okay, let me just grab these cards here. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop talking because I can't scrap and talk at the same time. And I will do a voiceover later and we'll go ahead and make this last layout. And yeah, so I'm going to first pick my background here, and I decided to go with this pink paper. It came from Simple Stories, a paper pad that I have from Simple Stories called High Style, and I think the paper in that paper pad is so pretty. It's got quite a few of these ones that you can use as a background, and I'm going to go ahead. I thought about like layering the paper one on top of the other, but then I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool to cut these pictures down into little squares? And I'm also going to be taking the paper and kind of just creating a collage on the actual background there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut down all these pictures. I'm using the Creative Memories personal paper trimmer, and I love using that paper trimmer for photos. It does a really good job of cutting the photos and really easy to use. As long as you pull the arm all the way up and push the picture against the guide, it works really well. But if you forget and you don't pull the arm all the way up, sometimes your picture come out crooked. But for the most part, it's really easy to use that little paper trimmer. So one of the other reasons why I decided to cut these pictures into little squares is because some of these pictures were actually a little blurry, and I did cut out parts of the picture that didn't look good. I was trying not to make this video too long, so I did skip ahead, and I did cut up, I think it was about 8 different pictures there into little squares, and then I'm only going to use 6 of those. And then this last picture, there wasn't really a good way to cut that one down, but I really liked that picture, and I just kind of made it into a different shape. I think it was like a 2.5 by 5 maybe. So as I was arranging my pictures, I noticed that I had more pictures of my niece Elena, and I kind of wanted to make sure the layout looked balanced, and so I grabbed a different picture and then putting that picture of my nephew there. So now I'm going to be looking at this cut apart sheet. This is from Simple Stories Sunshine and Happiness collection. And I found that little saying that says hot, and I'm going to be cutting that out. I also went through these little cut aparts also from Sunshine and Happiness, and I found this girl with the sunglasses. And I thought that was really cute, and so I decided to cut her out as well. And I'm cutting along the very edge of this image. Now, I did a video recently on fussy cutting because I had several subscribers ask me if I would give them some tips on how to do fussy cutting. So I have that video, and I will leave a link to that video in the description below if you're interested. But fussy cutting is one of the things I love to do, and it's so much fun. And if I'm not feeling up to scrapbooking, that's something that I can always sit and watch TV or YouTube videos and do some fussy cutting. So I love doing fussy cutting. Now here I was trying to cut this out, and it was like a little banner, and it had string, but it was super hard to cut around the string. And I just thought, well, maybe I should just cut out the letters and I will add some twine and make that into a banner. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So now I'm deciding that I wanted to, I pulled out an extra piece of paper from my kit. It's a pink stripe, and I'm going to put that in place of the green stripe. And then I decided I was going to add a border to the layout to kind of divide that section at the bottom from the top. And so I'm going to go ahead and use this border punch. And I didn't have enough paper because it wasn't a 12-inch strip. I think it was a 9 by 3. I cut that 9 by 3 in half, so I have two 1.5 by 9 strips. And I'm just going to make this into a banner, a border. A banner. I'm making it into a border, and I did look at using a different border punch, but I just decided I wanted to go with that one that was, it's kind of like a really small border, but I thought it really added a cute touch to this layout. Okay, now here I'm trying to figure out the placement of everything, and I'm thinking about using some washi tape, and I'm going to pull out this gold washi tape and then this really pretty blue washi tape. It has pineapples on it, and it says vacation time. And I'm going to be using that above where the that green stripe border is going to be. So I decided I would kind of switch this around. I wanted to put the girl on the left-hand side, and I thought it would be really cute if she was there on the left-hand side of the layout. And I'm going to be using these letters that spell the word summer. So the title of this layout is going to be Hot Summer. And this is coming from the 6x12 chipboard, also from Simple Stories, Sunshine, and Happiness collection. So I just put those letters onto some wax paper so that I can kind of move it around. Now I'm going to be looking at some twine. I wanted to pick out a twine that I thought would go with this layout. And at first I thought I was going to use this orange and white twine, but it was a very thick twine, and I thought it was just kind of a little bit too chunky looking. So I switched it, and I'm using this really pretty yellow and white twine. It's funny that sometimes a layout can turn out so good and it's so easy to do and everything just comes together. This layout was not one of those times because I really struggled with trying to get all these pictures on here. I think it's I really wanted to use all the pictures, and that's one of the things. I guess if I could have eliminated some of the pictures, it might have went a little bit better. But I really love the way it came out, and actually it comes out quite different than how I was thinking it was going to. I did move quite a few things around. And here I'm going to go ahead and put this green border down, and that's going to get moved quite a few times. I did cut out a lot of the video footage that I had because when I finished this layout and I went back and I looked at all of my video, I think I had almost 3 hours of video. So I did a lot of moving stuff around and trying to fix things, and things just weren't seeming like they were lined up right. And yeah, I just really kept having to go rip things off and then cover stuff up because I was ripping the papers. So I cut a lot of that out, but I'm going to go ahead and put down this gold washi tape, and then I'm going to be putting down this really pretty blue washi tape that had vacation time and pineapples on it. And later I'm going to go back and take that off. I just felt like it made the layout way too busy, and I really love that washi tape. I just didn't think it looked good with the other papers that I had going on in this layout. And then the other thing that I did is I decided to flip this border around and make it go the other way. And that caused me a problem because it made that stick out really far down into the layout. And then I didn't have enough room for all of my pictures. And so I'm going to be changing that up, and I'm going to make it much smaller. I'm going to probably cut that in half so that it gives me a little bit more room at the bottom of the layout. So I added some foam tape to the back of those letters, the HOT, and I'm going to be adding some foam tape to this girl as well. And I just love adding dimension to a layout. Now, when I was cutting the foam tape, I had a little bit of a crafting accident and cut my finger. Those We Are Memory Keepers precision scissors, I use those to do my fussy cutting, and those scissors are super sharp, and they have a really sharp point on the end. And yeah, I had to stop and go take a break and try to get my finger to stop bleeding. And this is the next day. So when I sat down to look at this layout, I thought, I don't like that. I don't like the washi tape. But when I started peeling stuff off, it was ripping the paper. And so I was trying to figure out how am I going to fix that. So I really wanted the border strip to go the other way that I had it before, but I wanted to cover up those places where the paper was ripped. And so at first I tried it this way, and I thought, well, maybe I can put the title there. And I'm just going to put the pictures back on here, and I really didn't have a lot of room there at the bottom. So I was struggling a little bit with how am I going to actually, fit all these pictures onto this layout. And I moved them around quite a bit trying to figure out how could I keep all the pictures. I really wanted to use all the pictures. So at this point I was a little bit stuck, and whenever I get stuck with the layout, I try to move on to doing something else. And originally I was not going to put mats behind these pictures, And but the more that I looked at it, the more I felt like maybe if I added a white mat behind each picture, it would make the pictures pop out from the background. And so I'm going to grab my We Are Memory Keepers layering guides, and I'm using the 1/16 inch layering guide, and I'm just going to go all the way around the picture to create this mat. And I did this to every one of those little pictures and also the bigger picture. Now, when I'm working on this one here, I cut this wrong, and you can see there, these layering guides do take a little bit of practice to use, and occasionally I still do mess up. You really have to keep a firm grip on that layering guide because you are pressing against it with the X-Acto knife. And so sometimes I slip up if I'm not putting enough pressure on the layering guide to keep it in place. And that's kind of what happened. And then usually it means that I cut into my mat and I have to start over. Okay, so this is where I decided that I wanted to make that smaller. So I'm going to keep cutting that up and making it smaller and smaller. And so I decided to add some washi tape above this gold washi tape. And you're going to see here that I also flipped the border over and I'm using the pink side instead. And I'm going to bring out some more letters. I decided that my title, I really wanted my title to be a little bit longer. And I thought Hot Summer was kind of a short title, so I made it Hot Summer Days. And so I had to pull in some additional thickers to make the word days. I'm also going to be adding some gold washi tape above that washi tape that I added, and I thought that came out really pretty. I just love the sparkle that that gold adds to this layout. And all of the sayings on there are really fun. It says things like good times and amazing. Can't read it from here, but just really cute sayings. You can see I changed the layout of my pictures at the bottom, and instead of trying to put 3 little pictures, the one big picture, and then 3 little pictures, I went across the bottom of the layout with 2 rows, and that worked out so much better. I just love now the way that this layout is coming out because for a while I didn't really like this layout at all, and I was really frustrated with it. And sometimes the layouts just don't go the way you want them to, and eventually you'll hit, a certain point in the layout and it'll start going much better, and it'll just really start coming together. And it was at this point that I was really loving this layout again. So I'm going to go ahead and add the twine to these little letters, and the first time I glued them on there, you're going to see me flip this over, and I'm going to realize instead of spelling hot, I spelled T-O-H because I had it on there backwards. And so I'm going to have to go back and take those letters off and re-glue them. Yeah, right here, see, it's backwards. So yeah, I fiddled around with that quite a bit, and then I did put them back on there in the right order, and then later I was wanting the string or the twine to go all the way across my layout, and because of the place where I glued the letters, I didn't have enough for it to go all the way across. So it's going to be moved again. So I moved that HOT off that twine and glued it 3 times. I swear this layout took me forever to finish. I think it was like almost 3 hours. So, okay, so now I'm going to just take some regular Scotch tape and glue that or tape that down in the back. And I'm going to glue on this little bow and add that sun. The little sun I pulled off the 6x12 chipboard stickers from the Simple Stories Sunshine and Happiness collection. And I took the backing off the phone tape and stuck down the word hot. And now I'm just going to go through and look at some enamel dots. I have some acrylic drawers that I keep my enamel dots, and I keep them by the rainbow in little color drawers. And just picked out some green, orange, and yellow enamel dots, and I'm just going through and adding those. Now I didn't really have clusters on this layout, so I was trying to figure out where I was going to put these enamel dots, and I did put some around the little girl, and then I was also going to put some at the bottom of the layout, and so I ended up creating a little cluster with this soda bottle that said Total Crush, and also put some enamel dots around the sun. So I created kind of 3 clusters on the layout. They were kind of small ones, but I still kind of think it created a visual triangle. And I really liked how this layout turned out. I did also take some pictures of this layout and added some close-ups, so stay tuned to the end for those close-up shots. I hope you guys enjoyed this scrapbook process video, and if you did, please give it a like, and if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.